Hello and welcome back. This section is going to primarily cover prevention and public education, which kind of goes hand in hand. It's what we do in EMS is oftentimes we are called to an incident that has already occurred and the effects of that incident are out of our hands, or the after effects are out of our hands. We can't really go back and change the fact that someone had a motor vehicle collision or they fell off a ladder. But there are some things that we can do to help prevention wise. And our prevention strategy should focus on public health. And that's where we are going to work with public health agencies to help lessen the impact of disease and injury on the public. And our work should be proactive. We should be getting out there and teaching children the importance of wearing helmets and pads and wearing seat belts, and teaching new parents about the dangers of leaving water in bathtubs and buckets and stuff like that. Now, this type of education is what we call the primary prevention. Primary prevention is the efforts to prevent an injury or illness from ever occurring. So that's our primary efforts are focused on that. And then we have secondary prevention efforts. And secondary prevention are efforts to limit the effects of an injury or illness that you cannot completely prevent. So once you're in an accident, you cannot completely prevent someone from being injured. However, by wearing a seat belt or utilizing airbags or placing a child's safety seat in the proper position in a vehicle, those can help prevent injury, even though it may not be 100% preventable that you will not be injured. Also, as an advanced EMT, you may be involved in illness and injury surveillance. And this surveillance is what the Centers for Disease Control and your local public health department utilize to know if there is an illness or some type of something going on that needs to be intervened with. Now, as an AEMT, you can help educate the public. You can help educate them by getting one-on-one after an incident. Like if you see a child that has injured their arm, maybe after a bicycle accident, and they did not have their helmet on, well, then maybe you need to take some time to educate them on the importance of wearing a helmet. Or if you have someone who was in a motor vehicle collision and they did not have their seatbelt on, you may do some one-on-one education that way as well. You can also help out by going to local schools and teaching first aid and CPR classes. And while you're doing that, you can throw in some tidbits about prevention of injuries too. You can work with other healthcare institutions. I know that I've done a project with the hospital once where we went out and we helped elderly people around their home look for things that could cause falls. So trip hazards and stuff like that. And teaching people immediate aid skills, which is very beneficial because if you can teach a mother how to relieve a foreign body airway obstruction of an infant, if that was to ever happen, that would probably make a big difference in that child's life. So, one big thing that I want you to remember about education is that it can increase respect and can lead to increased funding. It also gives people access to what it is you do. A lot of people do not understand what it is that we do as EMS professionals. A lot of the public just thinks that we are just one big agency under the fire department. They don't realize that there's different departments, and in some areas you may be under the fire department. But some people do not realize what EMS is. Some people still just think you're just ambulance drivers and you pick up and you just drive people to the hospital. They don't realize that you can perform advanced care. And by going out and spending time and educating the public about what it is that we do, what our mission is and stuff, that can help lead to us receiving increased funding from these individuals, especially when it comes time for budgets and stuff like that, and the county commissioners, the city council members, and stuff like that have to vote on issues. If they're educated about what we do, well, then they know how important we are to the community, and they may not be as willing to cut funding in that situation. So this is our lecture here on prevention and public education. Hopefully this was helpful, and we're going ahead with one more section next.